What is up, everybody, man? It's Leo and Josh with another episode of 713 Football Live, man. After a pretty rough loss, a really sad loss, man. Josh, man, how you feeling about this game, bro? And shit, I mean, what do you think?
What is it? You go through like the seven steps of grief or whatever it is. The That's where I'm kind of at. I'm kind of going through them pretty quick though, because of how like intense the conversations are right now in the Texans, man. And it's kind of a lot of what we thought going in, but we didn't think it would all play out exactly to the extremes that it did. So, man, I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it. I mean, CJ Stroud had a pretty bad performance, like one of the worst first halves I feel like I've seen, especially in a playoff game. Um, I mean, shit. I mean, it was gonna be hard for us to win after that, but I mean, we still had a chance. I kind of felt like the final blow was when Woody Marks fumbled the ball at the end. When it was a great play by it was a great play by Christian Gonzalez at the end of the day. You can't really you gotta tip your hat off to him, at the end of the day. But we got to protect the ball better as a team. I think with all the turnovers we had in the first half, it made it to where like pretty much everyone else had to play perfectly. Stingley can't get beat on a touchdown because there was no margin for error. Um, Jaden Reed, gets beat on that touchdown. Even though it was pretty much perfect coverage, I think both of those plays were really good coverage, just really great ball placement by Drake May. But when you turn the ball over 5 times as a team, and then at the same time, man, we're not having anyone make any incredible plays on offense like how they are. It's gonna be hard to win the game, man. So ultimately, I feel like I'm proud of the defense. I think they gave us a chance. But man, I mean, this offensive performance was just really, really hard to watch, man.
Yeah, it was the antithesis of complimentary football, right? And some of that we talked about when we we spent 2 hours with y'all last week talking about it over and over, coming from it every direction possible, and how to kind of how we could gain edge here or gain edge here. And in reality, we just came back around every time to, all right, does the quarterback, is he going to allow us to play complimentary football? That's the crazy thing. I think like as an offense in general, the unit, there was shortcomings, but the unit I think played well enough if the quarterback had played at a average to slightly, probably just an average level to win the game. I mean, it was 21-16 with all those turnovers before the booty touchdown down the right sideline, and it was completely wide open, a chance for us to we were really moving the ball in the second half. There was some adjustments made where we were able to kind of run the ball a little better, and there just wasn't enough juice. There wasn't just across the board. And we'll get into more of the details of what actually happened. But in general, they just kind of kicked our butt, and our quarterback didn't really provide any kind of advantage at all throughout the game.
Yeah, so I mean, let's get right into it. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about? I mean, so you keep saying, I, I mean, what do you think about it? Like, how do just talk, just say what you think about the game, man.
Oh man. All right. So this is the first thing that came to mind was I was reading through some of the quotes afterward, and this is kind of something that stuck with me over and over again. I was reading through, it was a quote from Marcus Jones afterward, who's pride of Houston, right? Killer. He was absolute killer over in for the Cougars, and he came out and said after, he says, having only a 4-man rush or a 3-man rush, CJ can dice defenses up, and our main thing was to come in and pressure. And that was, I think, the thing that kind of started the ball rolling. And it was something, it wasn't a surprise because they did the exact same thing last week against Herbert. Like, Herbert, they forced him into a myriad of mistakes, right? They were just kind of attacking all the different angles, everything they could. But like last week, they blitzed 45.5% of the time, right? Against the Chargers, we thought was crazy. And they topped it in this week's 46%. So the thing was that CJ had been decently efficient against the blitz previously, and he just wasn't able to handle it. And I think when you look across the board, when we came out and we weren't able to run the ball and they were blitzing like that, and I know you want to probably talk about the safeties, but you just saw an entire defense just kind of shrink the field, kind of this way that we do like throughout the year we've done against teams, shrinking the field on teams, really suffocating quarterbacks. And this is the first time, I'm not the first time, but the first time throughout an entire game where we felt like that tightness getting tighter and tighter throughout the game. And the quarterback wasn't able to make the big plays that he's had in the past that have been able to kind of open it up enough to where you can then stay competitive and maybe make a comeback later in the game. And that just really didn't happen. That was the first thing that kind of jumped in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the line is what the line is. I mean, um, this construction towards the end of the year they had been pass protecting well. I thought they pass protected decently against the Steelers, and I mean that's the thing. Like there was points in the game where the pass protection was good too, but the problem is even in the dirty and the clean pockets, CJ just wasn't that good. I think I saw he had like a 31 PFF grade from clean pockets, which is like really bad. I think pretty much like a C or average grade is around 60. I know a lot of people don't subscribe to PFF, but not that I really care that much, but it just kind of is something to say like how bad the performance kind of was from clean and dirty pockets. But yeah, I think they definitely shrunk the field on us and we could not make them pay. I think we had several opportunities to make them pay deep down the field, and we just weren't able to. I think a lot of the balls that CJ threw were particularly down the field, most of them were short. He didn't really give our receivers a chance to run underneath the passes the way that Drake May did on the sideline to Kayshon Boutte or whatever, man. I mean, and there were opportunities in this game. I think between Higgins and Hutch, and then even that pick that was on the sideline to the first pick to Carlton Davis, where he made that crazy interception, man. He touches his knee down and he's down in bounds. I mean, Kirk is wide open on that play, but also, man, there was a shot downfield potentially, on a double move, against quarters where I think Higgins ended up getting matched on the safety, and the safety's kind of there, but it is an opportunity to take the top off, and we just weren't able to, and it ended up being a turnover to another player that really was open, So, you could say that, and we'll get right into this. I mean, Woody Marks averaged 1.2 yards a carry, but I understand the argument that he needs a run game. He needs a bit more consistent run game, but I still think that there was an opportunity for us to win this game if we didn't turn the ball over 5 times. And, I should have cut up that Caserio clip of his press conference today, but that was literally what he said. He felt like this team was good enough to win, but you don't win games where you turn the ball over 5 times, So, I mean, I guess we could get into the defense. Josh, man, how you feel about the defensive performance as a whole, unless there's anything else you have to say about the offense?
Yeah, a couple of things on offense, just quickly. Like, people have said, okay, this performance was bad, but like, really, how bad was it? Right? It was literally the 10th worst performance in the playoffs by a starting quarterback since 2007 in terms of EPA per dropback. Right? 418 out of 427. The only guys that were worse, all right, everyone, as a Texan, everyone hold on to your seats, all right? Our favorite players of Brian Hoyer, Brock Osweiler were below him, 2015, 2016, respectfully, or unrespectfully, however you want to say it, right? Then below that was the Jake Delhomme game, where he went completely, just lost his shit. Then we have, surprise, surprise, I mean, this will tie into how great our defense played. But last week's performance by Aaron Rodgers was on this list below. I think that's the worst quarterback performance ever since 2007 in the playoffs was what Rodgers did last week. And then on that list too is Drew Brees at the end of his career, like literally I think his last year. And then Peyton Manning in his last game as a quarterback where he was like falling apart, literally like his ankle was falling on the field. He had to put it back on and shit like that. And he still won the game just because that he's Peyton Manning and that defense was so good. But I really think like that's the frustrating part. Like CJ Stroud could have come out there and played on the level of Peyton Manning, but if you just taken away in terms of efficiency wise, right? If you just taken those turnovers, like you said, off the board, there was an opportunity because this is as good of a defense as we've really seen since the what's it called, Legion of Boom, the no-fly zone defense, like whoever you want to label, even that Kuechly defense when they were really coming. Like this is kind of a level of historic defense that I don't know. Like I know these guys are young and I know they're going to get better, and you can always say, "Oh, our defense is going to get better and better," but like who's going to say Hunter's going to continuously stay healthy like as he gets older? Like he's already had neck surgery. He's a great player. He's been healthy recently, but you never know, right? And this felt like a window that they needed to take advantage of. And I just feel like the way CJ played and the way he came out, the frustrating part to me offensively was the way he came out after the game and talked about like, oh, this is new thing that I had to become a game manager. And it's like, you've had this same defense for 3 years, brother. Like you've done this and you've done this and you've said this and you've said this. And now you're just going to keep running it back and you expect us to just kind of listen to that shit. And it's really frustrating at this part. And I just think it's something where there has to be a shift going on. I don't know where that shift happens, and I don't know how we get the quarterback on a different level, but I think we're going to talk about it later. We'll get to more like the future and kind of how we fix it and everything. But defensively, it was like...
Well, I mean, hold on. Let's talk about that for a second, because that's a good point. I mean, is being a game manager a put down? I mean, I feel like over the last, since the social media era, or at least since I've been on Twitter, I guess, the whole idea of a game managing quarterback is just like something that's kind of scoffed at. And I think it's actually hilarious because most of the quarterbacks that people call game managers are actually suck at managing the game. Those are the guys that you just pray can manage the game. But when we talk about the elite quarterbacks, like generally they all do have good touchdown to interception or just a turnover in general ratios. You know what I mean? Hell, you could argue that Matt Stafford right now is probably the best game manager in the game because he's not turning the ball over and he's scoring. So to me, I kind of just feel like this whole argument over like game managing and like, oh, I don't want, and even just the whole media. I hate that this is turned into this because you want your quarterback and it's like, I wish I should have really cut up the Nick Caserio thing because he talked about that. He's like, every play the quarterback has to mitigate risk, every single play. And it's like, well, yeah, the best quarterbacks don't turn the ball over. They don't turn the ball over that much. Or if they do, like we said, they're scoring a hell of a lot of points if they are turning the ball over and putting the ball in harm's way. Like, yeah, Josh Allen played a bad game this week, not justifying that, but like, he's a guy that people think turn the ball over a lot. Well, he also scores like 40 touchdowns every season or more. Brett Favre was another one. Okay. He did turn the ball over a lot, but he scores a lot. So there's a certain offset, But man, when you literally are turning the ball over and you're not creating explosive opportunities and you're not finishing drives, man, it's hell. Josh, man, what do you think about this? As someone who watched probably damn near every snap of Drew Brees as a Saint, man. How do you feel about this label being a game manager? And is it as annoying to you as it is for me?
Yeah, it's the frustrating part about this is that he came into the league and there was literal quotes about him watching Drew Brees film as a kid and like really enjoying that and enjoying like the intricacies of it and being able to just stay on and just being that captain of the offense. And at this point, it feels like lip service. Like you come out and you have a performance where you have 9 of your drives failed to get a first down. All those drives, they averaged the 36-yard line starting. So defense was laying it up for them, right? 36, you should at least be able to flip the field on defense to the defense and really just kind of at least get 1 or 2. You should be getting in field goal range half of those for the most part. Like if you're a competent offense, those 26 plays, they had a total of 5 yards they gained. And you go across that, 60% of your drives failed to get 10 yards, right? So we're talking about game managing, right? And we have a guy here who has played the same message over and over again, and it's grating to this point. And the other thing that really kind of gets on my skin, and it ties into this this comment by Brandon, could firing Gerard Johnson for one could be one way of switching it up. And I think it's really weird because we saw this kind of kiss of death moment in terms of like last year when he gave all these compliments to Bobby Slowick, like he was kind of saying, "Oh, he's doing well. I have a good relationship with him." And then they fired him like a week later or something. Like it felt like 2 weeks ago he was talking about Gerard Johnson has completely reinvented the game for him and changed everything, and he's amazing. And yet he comes out and lays a complete egg fundamentally and gets worse and worse throughout the year when against the big teams. And I think if you want to understand CJ Stroud, we have a big enough sample size, right? So like here's some stats I kind of dug into. This is great that you brought up the game managing thing because this is him in a nutshell, right? CJ Stroud, since he began starting the last 3 years, he is 8th in explosive passes. No doubt, everyone sees that. He loves to push it downfield. He can make those plays. 6th in terms of 10-plus air yard throws. Understand it, pushing the ball down the field. Then he's 20th at EPA. You see that all the time. Just can't matriculate the ball down the field, to quote Hank Stram. And he's 11th in interception percentage, where he's just not making there's too many turnover-worthy decisions. We talked about this offline. He brought this up the other day that he got so lucky the first year, and even like some of the second year too. Those interception numbers should have been way higher than they were. And you tie that all in that we haven't done a good job of supporting him with a run game. And you see it 31st in running back rushing success rate.
Let's explain why. I mean, everybody fully knows, like when Josh brings up that he should have thrown more picks his rookie year, it's because if you just go look at the turnover worthy play stats, he had he was constantly putting the ball in harm's way his rookie year, and they didn't really make him pay. Defenses didn't make him pay for it, but over the course of the last 2 years, and particularly like this year, like, I mean, I can't explain. I don't know exactly when the turnover started piling up, but there was a point where he did not it just seemed like there was times where he literally just would turn the ball over a hell of a lot more, So those plays, those turnover-worthy plays that he had his rookie year, the league wasn't as gracious to him particularly like this past year. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just wanted to give context on exactly what that means. But by the way, before we move on, Josh, didn't mean to stop you, man. Shout out to Frank, man. We had a goal of 1 super chat, man. You helped us hit that goal, man. Do you think Mills in the second half would have made a difference? We'll talk about that in a second after this, Josh. We'll for sure start this, man. Did you have anything to say about the offense to close it, or did you want to finish what you're saying about CJ before we hit that?
Yeah, I just think there's this whole dynamic of we haven't done enough to support him and all these things. There's a point where you're rotating different. You're getting worse with a different play caller this year. Like, if we're being honest, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a little tease we'll talk about in a second. But, like, across the board, man, there has to be a level of accountability now moving forward. And you started to see that kind of breaking between him and D'Amico earlier in this year before he had that concussion. Like, in the press conferences, they were kind of getting snippy with each other, kind of jabbing back and forth, like kind of doing that passive-aggressive thing that CJ does at times. And there has to be organizationally a shift, because right now it's finally like people are getting that clarity now that we've kind of seen since last year that he's not right now at a point where we would extend him and make him that franchise guy. And it's going to be interesting kind of what the move is forward. But in terms of this game and game manager, like it just feels like freaking Groundhog's Day. And it's really frustrating because it seems like every offseason it's the same shit, right? even after the first one. I mean, the first year we were in the honeymoon stage, but after last year with Bobby Slowick, it's like, oh, we're going to make things easier. There's a point where the quarterback has to get some of that responsibility. So I'm sure we're going to talk more about CJ after we talk about the defense, but man, it's a frustrating point, but it's also kind of exciting to have a team so good that you can get to this point, even with the big question mark at the quarterback position.
All right, so yeah, let's get to the super chat, man. Do you think Mills in the second half would have made a difference? I mean, shit. I think that if it was me, it almost probably shouldn't have even made it to halftime. You know what I'm saying? Those 4 picks, I don't know. I feel like because you didn't bench him before that, like it's almost like, damn. I mean, I understand why they let him finish the game. Do I think Mills would have made a difference? I mean, do I think Mills would have hit Hutch or Higgins deep down the field? Like I'd assume. I think a couple of those shots was in the second half. I mean, the truth is, I don't know. I don't know that he would have made those plays that CJ missed. But the thing is that I don't think that if Mills would have started that game, that he would have had 4 turnovers in the first half. You know what I mean? So it's almost like at that point, like CJ kind of corrected himself because I mean, let's face it, like I didn't think that he's supposed to be an X factor, and his X factor is supposed to be pushing the ball downfield. You would think that's what he did so well his rookie year. He was like, I think if he wasn't number 1, he was in the top 3 for sure in air yards per completion, air yards per attempt. For us to not hit on any deep plays downfield was really bad, So like I can't honestly say that I think Mills would have came in and actually hit a couple plays, but I mean deep down the field or even had us moving the ball consistently. But god dang, I mean I don't think that he would have started with 4 interceptions. So I guess to answer your question, CJ stopped turning the ball over in the second half. I mean, but like, the second quarter, I mean the third quarter when we played the Chiefs and he only had in the whole total offense like had -2 yards, and those spurts that we seen, or I mean, what's the opposite of a spurt? Those like, just really dismal offensive. Yeah, those lulls, that we've seen. Like, I'm not just talking about like a couple drops. I mean, literally quarters where we can't move the ball at all, and we're going 3-0. Like, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, but I know one thing. That start literally made it to where everybody had to play perfect, man.
The only thing I'd add, man, is like there's a reason that our red zone woes, and I haven't looked at the numbers for this, but it feels pretty correct to me. I'm curious. It just popped in my head, and I think it's a really interesting idea. It feels like those red zone woes that we had really started to turn around and started to have some life when Mills came in at quarterback and when Stroud went out with injury. And I think because of that is you see Mills as a guy who's willing to execute the little things underneath, and he's not thinking these big hero thoughts of I'm going to make this play, this incredible play. I'm going to extend here. I'm going to either take what's here. I'm going to have good ball placement. I'm going to try to have good ball. I'm going to put it in a position where it's not my court. I'm not going to throw a hospital ball every other play. I'm not going to get my tight end's ACL torn on a play. I'm not going to throw even on the touchdown throw to Kirk. I'm not going to throw it behind him. I'm going to consistently give my players a chance to win. And I think what you would have saw, and it's really weird. Another thing is if he had come in, I think all that momentum we started to get, it wasn't really CJ Stroud's momentum that we created. It was the run game. We started to run the ball in the second half. We started to have momentum that way. And I think what you would have saw Mills have that connection with those receivers in the second and third units that we haven't gotten a ton of reps. All those reps that he gets at practice with him. That's the reason you saw him come in when Nico was out and have those comebacks against the Jags and all those different runs he had where he was super efficient. is he just has a different way with those guys. Now, I think CJ's still the higher upside player when he's executing everything. But in that situation, I really wish D'Amico had the belief that he could do that without there being long-term ramifications. It kind of feels like it was a big picture move rather than I'm trying to win this game move. And I just hate it for this defense because I just would have liked to see them try something and give it a shot to really see. I don't think Mills is the second, the next coming of Matt Schaub or anything, and I don't think anything like that. But I think in that situation, you had to try something because the game was still there,
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the sad part is that the game was still there even with Stroud in the end, and then but I mean, yeah. So that is a good point though. Maybe Mills could have executed in the quick game a little bit better. Maybe, what I mean. But I mean, and maybe that could have been enough. Because like at the end of the day, if we would have just got field goals basically on out, and would he not fumble that ball there? If he doesn't fumble that ball there, I think we might probably win the game because then we come right back down, get another field goal. I think, what I mean. And the defense is getting stops, But let's just go ahead and talk about this. Just get right into get right into the defensive performance, man. Listen, I think the defense played amazing again. I mean, this reminds me of one of the games early this season when, people were kind of criticizing the defense, right? People criticized the defense after the Bucs loss. People criticized the defense after really after all the first three losses, especially before
the Seattle game specifically.
Well, no, right? I'm talking about early in the year.
Oh, yeah. So the Rams game.
Before people really realized they were looking at a historic defense, they criticized, our defense for holding Matthew Stafford in an MVP year to 14 points. So it just kind of came right back down to the situation was basically like if we're asking them to score, like, right, CJ turns the ball over 4 times in the first half, Danielle Hunter forces a fumble, and then, because we don't fall on the fumble and scoop and score it, we lose the game. Because they have opportunity to really, that play basically costed us 50 yards. Us not being able to fall on that ball. And it's like the bar has been needed to be so high. It's needed to be like literally, it's like if we aren't playing like the 2000 Ravens and actually scoring on defense, you know what I'm saying? And or like literally putting like giving the offense free touchdowns basically. That's how high this bar is, right? And so like for people to kind of criticize Stingley the way that they have, this game, like, it's kind of wild as hell to me because in reality, I don't feel like he got picked on. I think, he forced a play where Booty made an amazing catch, you know what I'm saying, in rainy conditions. Drake May made a hell of a throw in rainy conditions. And, I mean, he got stacked. He did lose the rep. But if that ball, I've seen Stingley get stacked before, and, if that ball isn't thrown perfectly, it's a touchdown. It's not a touchdown. It might be picked. It might, it's definitely, So that's just great MVP level players making MVP. Screw that. MVP level quarterback making an MVP level, play. And on the other hand, this is a quarterback. Well, we already talked about CJ, and we're going to talk more, so I don't have to go. But so that's that. I mean, what else? Like Will Anderson, man, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Like, if anyone is still wondering who the best player in that draft is, did we trade too much picks for him? Listen, I mean, shit. I mean, the way Will Anderson's playing, we probably should have traded up to number 1 to get Will Anderson, to be honest, man. Danielle Hunter played amazing. I think, Petrie was making plays all over the field. I think Lassiter had a very good game. They gave up 21 points, in a playoff game, man, and forced 2 or 3 turnovers. I mean, it's like, what are we asking? Like, it's to the point where we're asking them to score, So that's all I got to say about that, man.
Yeah, man. Isn't it crazy, like, the 2 of the biggest plays were, and possibly the offensive MVP for the Patriots was Will Campbell because he fell on 2 fumbles, right? Like, that's in reality, like, and the only way the ways that they were really able to get big passing plays on us was when we got kind of aggressive and kind of fidgety, and you kind of saw what out there with a rookie, play caller. Like, he's done well, but he's still a rookie, and he came out and he's like, "Oh man, we got to blitz now. We got to make something happen." I think it was like 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 when they threw to Douglas. And that was like an all-out blitz where we're asking Kalen Bullock to do something that he's not great at yet in terms of like one-on-one coverage. You made that great point, and he tried to go Superman, and it was a great throw, a great catch, and just a great play. And the same thing happened over there against Derek Stingley, where like this is like Hall of Fame level throws. Like, these are kind of throws that you see once every like 5 years in the playoffs. Like, that's the level of play it was. And in reality, like that, if you were gonna hold anything against this defense, I'm not gonna hold, like, some people are gonna talk about, oh, they started to kind of give up at the end without in the run game and this and that. It's like, no, the offense put them in that position. All right, they eventually, like, there's only so many body shots a boxer can take before his hands start to drop a little bit, and that's what you saw, right? You saw the hands start to drop on the defense. Ramondre Stevenson started to kind of break away a little bit, break more tackles. That's gonna happen, like, when you play a team that's physical and knows how to run the ball and knows how to scheme stuff up. But man, it's just really frustrating because, like you said, the Diggs play, another play, good play by a young player in Reed. And I know he's going to be kicking himself, but he shouldn't. He should be hanging his
that was a
head
damn
high.
good play.
Yeah, right. And it was a better play by our vet,
I mean, and let's face it. I mean, like, I'm looking at the stats now, bro. Like, the Texans defense held them to 13 first downs. That's 3 fewer first downs than the terrible Texans offense had, right? 7 for 17 third down conversions for the Texans, 3 for 14 third down conversions for the Patriots, man. They held the ball, but somehow they held the ball for 5 more minutes than we did, So I mean, what more? It's like I'm saying, like, literally. I mean, you were asking them to score, and I feel like whenever you start kind of having that kind of a mindset, it's just like you're asking them to do too much. Like, I feel like the first 3 games, we was asking the defense to do too much. Like, we were literally mad that Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua drove down the field 2 times against us. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Right. Like, looking back at it, I mean, right. It's insane. And so, yeah, man, let's just talk about, like, really moving on and what needs to happen to have this team, really flourish. And something I really was thinking about last night was, it's not even about being able to run the ball throughout the year. Like, obviously we have to run the ball throughout the year, but it's not about just going to get in a running back. It's not about, just going to get a lineman and just, hoping it works. I think that we have to really think as a whole organization. We have to build this team to specifically be able to run the football against people that we will see, the type of defenses that we will see in the divisional round. If we want to get to the AFC championship, we have to think like that, because, like, being mediocre, being average, like, maybe we could fall back to being average, but man, to help this quarterback out, because, regardless of how you feel about CJ, you know what I'm saying? He will be on he will be on the team next year and potentially the year after that with the 5th-year option, right? And we don't have to debate that today, or like what we should do on the quarterback. That's a whole nother level of conversation. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following us for a while, you already know how we have felt about CJ for like 2 years now. So we don't have to talk about that. But what we are going to talk about is what it's going to take to succeed with the quarterback of his stature, right? So, again, for us to win games deep into the playoffs with CJ Stroud, you know what I'm saying, I think that we have to have a run game that is similar to, like, the Detroit Lions level run game. That's similar to, like, the run games of, like, the Rams with Todd Gurley, right? And just historic run games. Who else, Josh? I'm just thinking about people. Hell, the Saints of old with when they had, Darren Sproles, Pierre Thomas, and I'm forgetting the other back, But how do you feel?
Chris Ivory at one point.
Chris Ivory,
guys
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. You know what I mean? All of those type of run games. So how do we do that? The fact of the matter is, it's gonna be difficult. You never really know if you draft a tackle here or there, if they're gonna come in and really be that much of a difference maker. But let's just talk about the offensive line construction right now. I think Ursery, to me, I like him at left tackle. I think he brings a physicalness that we can build around in the run game specifically. The question now Andrews was playing hurt all year, so grading him is difficult. I do think that's a spot that we can upgrade at center. Right guard, I know you being an LSU fan, Ed, you loved Ed Ingram, and that I think as the year went on, you were pretty much correct in your analysis of that. Your prediction that he would be a good run blocker for us, especially, right? Better than we've had at right guard for a while, which ain't saying much now I think about it. But anyway, but potentially that's another spot that we can upgrade from between, in the interior in general and the tackle spot. You know what I mean? Now, to me, the right tackle spot is very interesting because I understand the idea that we have Titus Howard. And I think people are going to fall back into this Titus Howard is a tackle trap. But this line played its best with Titus at left guard. You know what I'm saying? Titus is probably hovering around 320 between. He looks like he's damn near 330 pounds. He looks like he's built like a guard now. He's 6'5", 325 pounds. There's instances in this game where I didn't cut up any all 22, but because they will copyright us. We learned that the hard way. But anyway, there's plays where at tackle he's getting reset. They're resetting the line of scrimmage like 3-4 yards in the backfield, and Woody Marks is having to, duck behind them, in the backfield, right? But I think that we've seen enough of him to think that him at left guard, right? Titus at left guard working in double team blocks in this power scheme that we're running, all the duo blocks. I think he does well in that. I think, you know what I mean? But see, that's why to me, I think that we have to address the right tackle position because I don't think he's a tackle. And Trent Brown has a patella band injury. And even though he ended up being the best right tackle on the team, basically, he only could stay healthy for like 5 games. So I think that there is an archetype that we've seen work, this huge, big right tackle, right? And I think that, or just a true power game, player right there that can be a difference in the run game. And then I think between the center and the right guard spot, I think we have to find another force multiplier in the run game there. To start with, before we talk about the backfield or anything else. Josh, man, I know I kind of went off there, but how do you feel about that way of thinking?
Yeah, we've gotten to a point now where we've solidified a culture and we're no longer kind of just getting back to like league average in terms of kind of how we're kind of maintaining his offensive line. We've developed kind of some identity and kind of how we have to, and a lot of it has to do with Woody Marks. Like huge kudos to Woody with how he kind of lifted. Like he was the MVP during the winning, probably the offensive MVP during the winning streak. Like the things that he was able to do. But the thing is, like, we have to create a situation where we can have interchangeable players coming in at running back, and they don't have to have insane vision the way Woody did, and guys that can come in with maybe more home run ability. And all that starts with like Trent Brown. Like Nick Caserio did an amazing job in this offseason of finding guys that weren't highly priced, be able to flip Laramie Tunsil into picks, and be able to bring these guys in and kind of move these pieces around. Like, if anything, there's some serious I have serious issue with the coaching staff and their ability to kind of put guys in place in the right position quick enough throughout this year and finding ways to get it right. And why did it take so long, like you talked about, for Titus to get down to left guard? Like, why did that happen? Like, that was the key to everything, having two big guards around Andrews, who is average at best in pass pro. And I don't know if that was injuries. It may have been injuries, but he's like a league average and then at best like guard at this point, right? And he's just kind of a guy you can't really move forward with. The problem is, like, I think you need to bring guys in that are flexible because you have a lot of moving pieces, right? You've got a Trent Brown, you've got a Blake Fisher they've already invested in, that they've played on and off. He's been playing a lot this year as the sixth offensive lineman. Do they view him as a starting right tackle in the future? Is there a way that maybe they find a guy that they like even better than Ursery at left, and they move Ursery to right to kind of allow him to get more aggressive and allow someone that's maybe quick? Because there was times where Ursery struggled with speed around and bending kind of things that you saw. You could use him as that point of attack guy to really fly off and just put guys in the ground the way we saw with Trent Brown at times and Ed Ingram. But I think very importantly, like right off the bat, they got to bring Ed Ingram back. And then they have to then focus and say, all right, we don't have a ton more money invested in Titus. Like, I know they restructured things, but there's ways to work around it when you're on a rookie quarterback. And I think that you're 100%. There has to be a foot on the pedal moving forward. And I think the thing that we've seen, and we finally got to it during this win streak, is there has to be an emphasis on size on this offensive line. And we can't have a thing where our second unit, every time someone gets hurt, is putting Jared Patterson out there at guard and expecting it to be like viable. Like, he's a good player to have as a backup center, and he can kind of move around. It's good to have him as like your fourth or maybe fifth guard, but there has to be another investment. I really like the kid in Miami, like someone like that who can come in and be physical and play downhill and knock people on their ass. Like, we'll get into all the draft picks, and there's plenty of guys that we're going to love talking about and putting guys in the dirt. But, man, there has to be that investment, and they have to see, okay, what worked for us this year? Right away, Trent Brown worked. He's a physical downhill guy. Ed Ingram worked. Physical downhill guy. Ursery's a physical downhill guy. Like, that's kind of what we need to do in this kind of New England based with the sprinkle of the Rams, because we kind of thought that's the problem. We came to this year thinking it was the other way, where we thought it was more like Rams with a sprinkle in New England, and it was kind of there was kind of a identity crisis, and they finally figured it out. And they only really found it out once CJ went out, right, with the injuries, when they really kind of rediscovered kind of what they really needed to do. But I think all that ties to, I think you're 100% right with getting a force multiplier at center. But I really think the tight end position as a blocker and bringing in someone who's a difference maker, like seeing how we changed when Cade Stover came back and what he was able to do, like the fact that he's coming off a knee thing now. They said it's not super serious, but who knows with that. You got to continue to add run blocking talent that can kind of help augment things, especially if you're going to continuously go young. If you're going to start Fisher there, a tackle, different things like that. And running back, it has to be a thing, and it has to be a home run threat. You know,
let's get into that. Like, we'll get into the running back because that's a whole nother thing. I mean, but the line, to me, I think that like Blake Fisher, I think that, obviously he's young. He had a really rough offseason last year from what and he got a lot of good reps in as the sixth offensive lineman. So I do agree that there is a chance that he gets better and maybe he can be the right tackle that they want. But at the same time, though, like, I think that there is such a difference there's a bigger difference between Trent Brown and Blake Fisher than there is between Titus Howard and Blake Fisher. I feel like in stature in that. And I like in terms of like, I think that we almost, to run this physical downhill style, I'm willing to kind of like build more around the run game. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we need to be running the ball 50% of the time. I mean, this is something we've been saying. I think like we kind of gotta but now it's more evident, I think that at this point, bro, we have to make sure we have offensive line depth for the kind of physicalness we're gonna run and running back depth, right? Now the reason why I'm talking about this specifically is because there's a lot of people that think we should go interior. I think that tackle, especially if we talk about taking a first round player, I think it has to be. I mean, obviously you want to hit on the pick if there's a great guard there that it just ends up being a guard. I think that if you can get a tackle that can really anchor the right side of the line down and not get the line reset on them. You know what I mean? Is Blake Fisher that? I don't really know right now. I know that he was supposed to be a great run blocker coming in, but if we could, I'm just thinking Trent Brown, where can we find someone that can be that physical? Obviously Panay Sewell, you know what I'm saying? There's, just God level right tackle run game. I think that's kind of it. But it's just that's hard to find. There are guys there. The kid from Miami, that I assume you're talking about, I think his name is Malaga or something. He won't.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call him Francis.
Yeah, Francis. Yeah, he's not gonna be there when we pick. I mean, it's man. He's 6'6". He's like the prototypical tackle nowadays. And now they say that he could play guard too. Man, come on, man. I mean,
with how high Booker went, we'd have to move up for him.
Because I think he's probably gonna be a better athlete than Booker. Also, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but I mean, I've seen Brandon is talking about Trent Brown, Markel Bell. Yeah, he's that kind of a mold, Because my thing is this, man. Think about it, bro. It's like, okay, these guys might get beat around the edge, but we don't want to throw the ball that much. We want to, I think that if you can, get to the point where most of the throws is off of play action, that's where you want to be. To me, I think center, man, if we could find a actual power center, you know what I'm saying? To me, that can be a true game changer for us because Ingram is already physical mentally. I mean, I wouldn't say Ingram plays bigger than he really is, I think at times, or he tries to for sure.
He does a great job with leverage. Yeah. He sometimes screws up with oversetting and feet placement and gets kind of exposed in pass pro at times. But man, when he's got it, he's like a dog with a bone. When he gets it going, it's party time.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like he definitely is a power blocker and all that, but he doesn't look like some hulking figure. I think that if we're able to find like a guy that is built similar to a Landon Dickerson or a Gray Zabel to be our center, I think that would take pressure off of Titus Howard and Ingram as well. That coupled with the right tackle. Now I know obviously this is just how I'm seeing it, I think those are the two easiest spots, or guard, just one interior. The way I see it, if we can get a force multiplier, one in the interior and one tackle this year, if they don't view Blake Fisher that, if he's not that, right, then that's what kind of needs to happen. But regardless, I'm fine with taking a tackle in day one or day two again, because it's just that important. And with the physicalness that we will have to play with, we need the depth. We need the depth regardless. You know what I mean?
The vision. I was gonna say the vision is simple. It's the one everyone jumps to is the Eagles, right? You got Mailata and Lane Johnson, but another vision that popped in my head. It's this is kind of based on how big we were at tackle this year. Man, think about Ronnie Stanley and Orlando Brown when he first got there, right? In Baltimore, right? And then you flip back. If we want to talk about, all right, how did teams survive and win and get to deeper in the playoffs? Freaking think about Mark Sanchez, sorry, Mr. Butt Fumble himself. When he was out there, he had DeBrickashaw Ferguson and he had Nick Mangold at center, right? That's your false multiplier at center, right? That's the kind of player we're talking about. Guys that they don't have to be massive, but man, they got to be wrestling background. And this is like a Nick Caserio special. I think if Nick Caserio heard this, he would have a moment. He'd need to have like a moment with like a cold drink of water or something to kind of calm down after the way we're talking. Like, I think there needs to be a situation moving forward where they identify the quarterback as a weakness at this point until he proves differently, and build a team that is 100% geared around the defense. There's no question. We've done investing in receiver. We're done. We don't have to do it anymore. Thank God it's over. We don't have to look at more receivers. I know everyone loves watching receivers, but we're set with that. Let's get some dudes that are straight up knee biters, right? Let's go get our Frank Ragnow. Let's go get. I mean, we don't really need a Tyler Linderbaum.
He's another type of guy. I can't. I mean, it's crazy. He retired. It doesn't feel like he's been in the league that long. But
he tried to come back and then failed his physical right before the playoffs. Yeah.
I mean, but he's another type. Like, to me, for how we want to play, I think he would be the perfect type center, like a guy that is built like a guard. A guy, or almost like a guy that's like a tackle, but maybe his arms are too short. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy, but on the inside, he's a big fucking, and I get it. Like, I'm talking about like how, I guess, pause, no homo, the size of players. But I just want us to like be more physical than whoever the hell we line up against, because, at the end of the day, we run in power, we run in duo. I mean, like you're talking about not having no negative plays. I think that's an easy way to, like, as these defenses haven't really shifted back to really playing base completely, to from like having to defend all the 11 personnel and nickel stuff. Like, as we saw, I mean, like, bro, like you look at the Patriots defense, hell, you look at our defense, and these linebackers wearing, single or low digit numbers, they damn near look like safeties. You know what I'm saying? At this point, like I can't say, listen, we've built two teams back-to-back years built off of the quick, that at the end of the day, we're going to have to be built off the quick passing game. And the quarterback has screwed it up royally 2 years in a row, with two different coordinators, with Bobby Slowick and with this guy, Kaylee. So at this point, it's like, let's just throw all that shit out the way. If CJ learns how to, be like Drew Brees and be like Tom Brady or whoever the hell else, people told me he was gonna fucking be, sorry, I'm frustrated. It's been a frustrating week for me, But like, if he develops into being able to read the defenses that fast and deliver an accurate ball, you know what I mean, in the quick game, fine. But let's build a team that we can win with Davis Mills. Let's build a team that we can win with the third string quarterback. And we can win deep into the playoffs with them, because we're going to play damn good defense and we're going to be able to run the motherfucking ball, right? Right? So, which is leading me to my next point. Sorry, y'all. I see a lot of people are commenting, and shout out to Brandon and Frank, But if y'all want us to pay attention to your comments, we will try to get back to them at the end. But the way to get it right in our face is super chat. We will stop what the hell we're talking about and do it, and you support the channel. But moving on back to what we talking about, man, let's talk about, I think I had that off, but it went off when I hit something. But yeah, so let's talk about the defense, man. This is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Listen, there's a high chance that this first round pick can also be a defensive player, because listen, like, I have CJ Stroud as my quarterback, man. This is 2 back-to-back years. We changed the coordinator. I will never, there's no way I could ever think that we can't plan on having a truly high powered offense, right? But we know we're going to have to run the fucking football, and we know we're going to have to play defense. Now, like, you see teams run up the score at the end of games or after, their defense gets stops, you run the ball, and then next thing you know, play action shots and all that stuff. So, but those looks and those scores are generated off of defense and off of running the football. So for us to be able to continue to run this football deep into the year, we have to keep giving our offense opportunities to run the football. So we have to keep getting stops. Our defense cannot take a step back, really. You know what I mean? They have to get stops. So things that help us get stops, defensive tackle. I think that if there is a defensive tackle that can be a game changer inside, that can play with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, I think that is something that they have to strongly consider if there is not a lineman there. Oh, we skipped the running back position, Josh. I'm sorry. We'll go back to that. I'm sorry. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to piss people off today. Shout out to Frank. It better not be defense at one, but I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna explain why. I already explained it. Listen, I just watched Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson just basically wreck a whole damn game by themselves. Josh, you pointed this out off the record. At one, hell, I don't think anyone else got a sack. I don't know how many pressures our interior got. It's gotten to the point where they almost don't need to because our edges are so dominant. But what if we had an interior rusher, at either technique, whether it be one or the three or whatever, right? If we had a guy that could come in, not only be like a force in the run game because he's eating double teams, but a guy that could really get after the quarterback, to me, that is worth the pick because that's going to make you have to deal with Will Anderson a completely different way. That's going to make you have to deal with Danielle Hunter a completely different way. And then it helps our linebackers out, and then, so to me, man, I think that is a position that we still need. And I know also you talked a little bit about edge, Josh, and I know that's something that people really would be shocked to see us take an edge in the first round. Josh, man, why don't you just go ahead and tell people why you think that would make so much sense?
I mean, you just said it about what happened in this game. This entire team's identity is built around our edge position right now. It's like far and away our best position, and it's not even close. Like, there's not even as good as our secondary is, it's not even close, right? Like, our secondary is young and upcoming, but we've got two guys that are all pro level players. And the problem is, like, if we lose either of them for at any amount of time, the drop off is insane. Like, we tried to bring Darrell Taylor in. He didn't even make it through the full year before we got rid of him last week or something. Before he jumped on the Patriots, which I can't blame him. We cut him. Like, it's our bad, right? Like, Derek Barnett is not a guy that's gonna like level up to another level. Like, there has to be a vision moving forward where Danielle Hunter is an absolute demon. He's a borderline Hall of Fame player. Probably will be a Hall of Fame player if he can stay healthy a few more years. I mean, probably is one right now. But like, here's the deal. Like, if we can't be a team built around, like, the teams that we talk about that are built around their edge rushers historically, those Giants teams, they were always at least 3 deep. So if they lost the guy for one game or something, they had Matthias Kiwanuka coming in, or Osi Umenyiora, or Justin Tuck coming in to pair with Strahan, or when they had JPP, they had all these different guys in and out and all around, right, and switching them up. Like, right now, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be an edge, but man, it would be nice to have that kind of player. And I think the beauty of it, I agree to a point with Frank that they probably won't do this in the first round. But the beauty of this draft is absolutely stacked at edge. And I think it's a position where we can kind of play it best available. We don't have to be very specific of what style. Like, personally, I would love a guy that can come out, he can set the edge in the run, like a bigger guy that can really set it up and then also play inside at times and kind of have that flexibility inside and outside in this defense. That would be absolutely amazing. But there's so many smaller guys like that would really be fun in this class, and it would fit into kind of the way we play with our playing that wide. It's not even wide 9 at some point. It's like wide 11 with where they're lining dudes up, right? So I think there's an opportunity to attack that position in the second round and like really get a high level player. And that's probably one of the most exciting things for me looking at this draft, kind of going into it. And we're going to do a ton of videos. Like, y'all are going to get sick of us talking about draft prospects, and kind of how we building it. Because I don't think there's an opportunity, and it doesn't, like, cost effectively. It probably doesn't make sense to go out in free agency and make this move. But man, if you can bring that guy in, and he can be a little raw, right? He can be a guy that you can bring along, but have incredible upside, and you can coach him up, and you can bring him up behind Danielle Hunter and slowly build, and you give a bigger role throughout the year. And guess what? Next time you come into the playoffs next year, if we add another DT like Leo's talking about, a dude that's an absolute demon. There's some DTs that are bigger guys too. If we can find a guy that can kind of play that role with a big dude, and we have 3 edge rushers kind of moving around, and you don't know where they're coming from. We stop the run a little bit. We get in these 3rd and long situations. Like, we're talking about, like, worried about these little knick-knack plays here and there where it's like a half an inch between an incompletion and completion. That ball's not going to even be in play. Like, that's how we do this, and that's how we play complementary football. And one of the biggest things we can do in order to help this offense is make sure the defense stays at this level, and in reality gets better. Because if you're not improving, you're getting worse. And when you're a young team like this, if you're not improving on defense, then you definitely are getting worse. And I think, I mean, in reality, this is another class that's really deep at linebacker. We won't get into all that, but we are paper thin at linebacker right now. And D'Amico's able to cover a lot of things up with Toa and Aziz and some of the deficiencies. They're really good players, like, within their role. But, man, we need another young guy because of where Christian Harris has kind of fallen off a little bit from his projection. So I think there's a lot of places in safety. There's a lot of spots on the defense up the middle and at the edge position that we could really need to add to moving forward. But, yeah, man, that's kind of what I get. I kind of got going a little bit and excited. But, man, that's where I'm looking at moving forward.
So yeah, I mean, and Frank, I hope you understand what we're saying. Like, obviously, me and Josh have been for 5 years. I mean, neither one of us would be mad at O-line or but playing defense helps the offense too. Playing defense, getting stops keeps it to where you can feel comfortable running the football because you're not playing from behind. So there's a lot of different levels to why we're talking about improving the defense. Ultimately, it's to help CJ Stroud as well. You know what I mean? And Kaylee and the whole offense in general. But let's talk a little bit about running back because I was an advocate of drafting running backs high last year, almost even in the 1st round, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that along with fixing the offensive line, man, adding a running back to pair with Woody Marks. We're not even going to talk about Joe Mixon because, I mean, we just don't even know what, obviously in a perfect world, we want him back. And then I would still say go get a running back because I would want to be 3-4 deep, But anyway, let's talk about running backs. And then someone talked about tight end. We kind of hit on that a little bit. Maybe if we have a little time, we'll talk about that. But listen, I mean, we need a running back with game changing speed, game changing, and obviously physicalness. Those. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people love Jeremiah Love. I don't know if we're gonna have a chance to get him anyway, but I'll tell you what, man. I love a running back that can, I don't necessarily need him to run a 4.3. I just need him to have some respectable speed. But I think when I think about what Joe Mixon brings to this offense, brought to it when he was here, I would almost rather like a guy like that, a guy that can hit 50-yard runs, 40-yard runs for sure, but a guy that lowers the boom. You know what I'm saying? Also, that basically can wear a defense down and pair with Woody Marks, because this is an interesting thought, too. I know we both wondered why Woody Marks didn't do anything in the pass game, but he ended up being the lead back, having to basically shoulder the load of the offense. So a guy that can kind of put him back into probably his more natural spot, you know what I mean? Although we know he can run the football well. Josh, what do you think about that? Like, Will there even be a running back that makes sense for us to draft in the first round? It seems like there's always one in the second round. But I mean, what do you think about that? And what do you think about, like, the team needs from that position in general moving forward?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but this is not a great class for running backs. Like in terms of that second tier, like there's Jeremiah Love, and there's one guy that I want on the Texans, and then I'm sure there'll be another guy that pops up eventually. But for me, it's Nicholas Singleton out of Penn State. He's like, I think he's gonna be super underrated, like in terms of the shit he was going through at Penn State, the absolute shit show that was with Franklin towards the end, and just how badly it played out with Aller. But I think he's that guy that can kind of have that like Jonathan Taylor type of impact where he can go out there, he can catch the ball naturally, he's physical, he's put together, he's smooth, he's fast. Like I think if he was in a better situation, he may not even, he may be. Here's the crazy thing, there's a chance he's not even there for us to pick. With where we saw Hampton go last year, and with the way that people are valuing running backs now, with the way the defenses are shrinking the field more and more, and run game is more and more important, and the fact that there aren't a ton in this draft, I think there's a chance that he gets pushed up and we may even have to move up for a guy like that. But like for me, that's the one guy in the draft. I think the running back position, the beauty of this for us, and it's something that we can kind of go back around, and we've already had success with it. So we know, the one thing we know with Nick Caserio, he can pro scout his ass off. Like he can go find guys on other teams and project them into his role, especially when they're in their prime and stuff. Like he took a flyer on Nick Chubb later. Like I'm not too worried about that, right? Like that was like, what, the value was too good. We had to give it a shot, because if it hit, it would have been like really great insurance and everything. But I think what you do is you go into this free agent class, which is pretty damn historic. Like up and down, there's guys that are young. There's obviously I don't think necessarily we're gonna go like top of the market and go get a Breece Hall. But man, if Walker's out there, I don't know if Walker becomes available now with Charbonnet getting hurt. But man, there's Javonte Williams out there. There's Travis Etienne. Like imagine the feeling and the elation within, like, this could low-key like push away a lot of the CJ Stroud blues that we have right now. If we went into Jacksonville and snatched their dude, basically their number 2 or probably number 1 weapon on the offense right now, with him and Brian Thomas, and said, you know what, y'all are going to have to win with some dude named Tuden for next year, right? You're going to have to help Sunshine over there with Tuden. And, it's like, you go get Travis Etienne and continue that Louisiana love. I mean, I would love it, man. I know he went to Clemson, but LSU missed out on him. He's an absolute everyone knows like how he is, right? Like it's just an absolute killer if we could get a guy like that. But then you go down the farther on the list, and there's other guys too. When you start looking at it, it's just a really deep class where I think, unless you really love someone at the top of the market, you can be a little bit patient, and there will be money there, and there will be a situation where we can get him for a similar value that we got Mixon for last time, right? Even though we went and traded. And I think there's a situation where there could be a secondary market where a team goes out and signs one of these running backs, and then their running back then becomes available, and we go and flip it for maybe a guy who's like 28, 29, so they aren't necessarily like, prime where they're going to get that crazy money, but they have those 2-3 years, and we kind of keep cycling over what we've done with Mixon. And I know Mixon got hurt, but everyone says it was some fluke crazy injury, so that's what they just reported recently. So like I'm not too worried about that. I think we continue that, and you kind of put Woody Marks in a situation. You said it perfectly. Like we didn't get to see a drop in the bucket, which is the crazy part of how good Woody Marks can be, because we didn't get to really see him in the pass game at all. Now, I don't know if that's in Kaylee's offense, which is crazy as shit to me. I know you're a huge James White guy, and you love talking about how innovative that was with using that as the extension of the run game. But I just think there's an evolution there that we can all tie this all back. Like we talk about, run game helps the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Man, the best thing you can do for a quarterback is start checking that ball down to the running back and just making that shit so damn easy. You can start throwing damn shovel passes to him for all I care, right? and really take advantage of it, especially tying it back to what you said, especially if we get that false multiplier in the draft on the offensive line and everything kind of starts tying together, and maybe you get a tight end that can be more of a force multiplier in the run game and give you some more vertical ability to tie with Schultz. And then you kind of see, okay, we have the sexy stuff outside. We're getting the kind of meat and potatoes inside. We're really creating, and it sucks we have to say this, but we're really creating a QB-proof offense at that point.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, you kind of brought something up that I didn't even think about. Because I do think we should draft another running back regardless, almost at some point. Signing one and drafting one. And it doesn't matter if you even spend money on, like you said, like a Kenneth Walker or something like that. Because Kenneth Walker is a very powerful dude, despite being like 5'8", 5'9", really stocky, has home run speed. You pair that with Woody Marks, and then you go get like you draft a guy like Nick Singleton, who, like you said, in reality, bro, might kind of get drafted a little bit higher than his production even show. I mean, you talk about a guy that's like, they list him at, I think, like 6 feet 230 almost, So he's a big back, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so like, and then at that point you have a bunch of fresh legs. Like, we're not like, our big back can come in and still break away, and like we talk about like CJ Stroud and like what he did so well his rookie year, push the ball downfield, seeing a lot of stacked boxes his rookie year. There was only a few quarterbacks that I think saw more stacked boxes than him. And honestly, like, one of them was Lamar Jackson. It was like literally CJ Stroud was like in the top 5 list of like stacked boxes against his rookie year. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to teams wanting to play like cover 1, cover 3 against us, like putting 8 people in the box, playing single high safety against us. He shredded that. I mean, he shredded that his rookie year. Like, let's make it as simple as possible for him and then get his confidence back up. Because right now it seems like he's been in the dumps, and now everybody has to say that they love him and all this stuff. Like, everybody's, Will Anderson says he's still the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, W friend right there, because I mean, I love Will Anderson. Think he's a great person. And this, honestly, I'm not gonna say that he's delusional. I mean, this is why we traded picks for him, because he is a great teammate, a great friend. But I mean, CJ needs help, man. And it goes deeper than just the team. I mean, just the drafting alignment. I mean, let's build a team that can win games without him. You know what I'm saying? And ask him to do things that he's only good at, and just literally just build up his confidence to the point where he feels like he can go out there and do the special things that we thought he could, So that's kind of where we're at, man. We kind of went a little bit longer than we thought. Listen, man, make sure y'all are subbed up. You know what I mean? We got a lot of off-season content coming for y'all. We want to be very, very active. If you want to support the channel, man, like I said, super chat us. You can super chat after this video is published also. And also, man, join the channel, man. Become a member. We have a Discord. Maybe we'll make it members only. You know what I mean? Only talk ball there. I know we have a moderate we kind of do like film sessions. We're kind of working through this game, which actually sucks. It sucks that we have to, but we are going through it. I mean, hell, maybe we could watch some film of like, guys that are going to be free agents next, man. See what other things they're running. I mean, has Tennessee also? This is kind of random, but has Tennessee? They haven't picked their OC yet, right? I know they kind of said it was Dabo. They said it might be Dabo or some shit.
I don't know yet.
Well, I'm just saying that because, like, there's always football to watch. You know what I mean? So we could watch all 22 of, like, what Dabo was running in New York or whatever. See what Liam Cohen was doing, and also just go back and watch Texans games, man. So, like I said, man, make sure there's a lot of ways for you to support us, man. We got more stuff coming for y'all, and just stay tuned, y'all. Peace out, y'all.